Hi, my name is Jaana. Welcome back to my channel, where I talk about slow living and my life in the Finnish countryside. My book was recently published. This is the first book that I've ever written and gotten published. And in this video I'm going to be talking about what it takes to achieve a dream. What are the things that you can do to make your dream come true? If you're interested in the book, I will link the details down in the description box, but for now it's only in Finnish. By the way, I also want to point out that just having written one book doesn't mean that I know it all or that I have all the answers. It just means that I was able to achieve this one particular dream, and it was a big one for me. Now that I have experience in achieving this one dream, it makes me more confident in believing that I have the capabilities of achieving other dreams too. I used to dream of becoming a writer, of publishing a book, even when I was a child. But I also had this idea that it was frivolous, it would never become reality, that it was such a dream that I would be better off just forgetting about it. I don't know where I got these ideas that it wouldn't be possible. For a long time I kind of avoided this dream, believing that it would be a waste of time to try to achieve something like that. And that brings me to my first point, that it's okay to believe in dreams. And in fact, I would say that you have no way of knowing if your dream is something that you can achieve or not, if you don't try. No matter what the dream is, the only way of finding out whether it's realistic or not is just to try. And I'm not saying that you should just quit your day job just like that without a plan. All I'm saying is that there's a reason that you were made like this. Of course, it depends what you believe in. I'm not religious in any way myself. I'm not a member of any religious community. But I do believe that there's something higher than ourselves. And I do believe that I'm the way that I am for a reason. That I kept dreaming of becoming a writer. I believe that's how I'm supposed to be. If I have a dream like this, I believe it's also my duty to see where it goes. So what does it take to achieve something? In my opinion, 3 things are needed: hard work, talent, and luck. At least those 3. And of those 3 things, only hard work is something that you can choose or impact. Whether you have talent or not is beyond your control. Luck is another thing that you can't affect. The only thing that you have some control over is working for what you want. And I know that I have been talking on this channel about slow living and how you should give yourself time to rest, and I definitely believe in all of those things. But if you want to achieve something, you definitely need to work for it. And that means showing up for yourself, being consistent. And in my case of writing, at some point it meant that I maybe wrote like 15 minutes a day. That's a small amount of work, but if you do it every day, it adds up. It means that you need to prioritize the thing that you are working towards, even if you don't know if it will ever become a success or not. And it means that your dream needs to be something that you enjoy doing. If you are committed to doing something every single day, or at least almost every day, it needs to be something that you love doing. So I would be really careful about choosing my goal or my dream, or being very mindful about if it's really your dream, if it's something that you genuinely want to do, or if it's just something that you think you want to do. Because you're going to be spending a lot of time with that dream of yours, working on your project when others are maybe going to a party or doing something fun. You might have to sometimes decline those invitations because you have a project that you want to complete. And there's another thing about loving what you do. Because you have no way of knowing whether your book is going to be published, or maybe it's something else, like you want to become an artist or a photographer or whatever. I'm talking about creative things here. I believe they have so much in common. My advice would be to try to obsess as little as possible about the outcome. Try not to think too much about whether it's good or not, whether you have talent or not. Just think about how much you love doing it. Because you can't know of the outcome. You have no way of knowing what the people in the publishing houses think about what you have written. Instead of using energy, feeling sorry for yourself, or trying to guess what will happen, I think it's better that you use that energy to writing, because all that extra stuff will just affect your writing negatively. Just try to find that space of mind where you enjoy what you're doing so much that you forget about all the rest. And you can't know for sure if it will be in vain or if it will lead to something. But it will definitely not lead to anything if you don't put in the work. You might have all these thoughts about how you're not good enough, how there are so many other people who are better at what you want to do than you. I suggest you let go of all of those things, all of those thoughts. They're not helping you. Put your energy into actually doing what you want to do. And I know it's not easy, but at least you make the effort of trying to let go of those things. And remember that first drafts are always crap. That's something that I heard from somebody who's more experienced in writing than I am. And when I first heard it, it helped me so much. And my first drafts definitely were crap. And I'm not ashamed to say that. For me, it's deliberating, knowing that at first you just put some things together and you can always make it better later. So don't get discouraged if you feel like your first attempt at something wasn't good. It doesn't mean that you won't learn, that you're not good enough. It just means that you still have things to learn. I wrote my book for years. I don't even remember when I started writing it. And then I had a big burnout that I have mentioned in some of my videos. And there was a gap of about 2 years that I didn't write at all. I just wasn't able to. So it was a long process. I would say that the less you think about the timeline of your project, the better. All that matters is that you do something about your dream, because you don't want to end up being one of those people who just feel sorry for themselves for not reaching for their dreams. There are so many people on this planet who want to write, who want to create, who want to make art, and they don't. And they might end up feeling bitter for it. If you're the kind of person who can't be without writing, who can't be without art, you need to do that favor to yourself and start creating. If you have always wanted to write, then write. And it's not so much about whether you will find a publisher or not, or whether you will be good at painting or drawing. It's a favor that you need to do to yourself. In order to live a happy life, you need to use your potential. I, at least, am a much happier person when I write consistently. And when I said that I try to write every day, there are always, of course, exceptions. If I have the flu, I rest. I take a break. Sometimes the circumstances are a bit difficult. If you have 2 kids screaming into your ear and demanding stuff, it might be difficult to concentrate. So for me, it's about the balance, trying to stay as consistent as possible, but also being gentle with myself. One thing that's really important is your mindset. It might be difficult to actually believe that your dream will come true. And one thing that helps with that is visualization. Before I got my book published, I used to visualize how I held the book in my hand, how I was leafing through the pages of my book. And I think that's really important, well, for various reasons. Some people believe in manifestation and sending the right kind of energy to the universe. And to some of you that might sound a bit woo-woo, but I think there's another side to it too. If you keep visualizing what you want, it will become more familiar to you. Your brain will start to think differently because the thing that you are dreaming of is something that you kind of already did because you imagined it so many times. The truth is that our brain doesn't really know the difference between something that we actually did or something that we just imagined. And that's why athletes use this as a tool. In addition to actually practicing, they use this as a psychological tool to imagine how to do the hoops or the jumps or the runs or whatever they are doing. And that has power. So if you just take time to visualize all this as often as you can, or at least every once in a while, your brain will start to believe that it's actually happening, and that will impact your actions. So it's not just the manifestation or the energy side of things. It can also be very practical. And what sets visualizing apart from just dreaming is, in my opinion, is the intentionality. By the way, a lot of what I said was based on two books. One by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. It's one of the best books written about creativity, and I definitely wholeheartedly recommend it to everybody. And another book that was important to me was Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Make sure to read that too if this is a topic that interests you and if you have big dreams and goals that you want to achieve. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas in the comments as always. Thank you for watching. Remember to take care of yourself. See you in the next video. Bye bye!